Serena never imagined that a simple meal from a stranger could change her life forever. From a homeless girl struggling to survive, she suddenly found herself stepping into the luxurious world of CEO Alex Carter, a cold, enigmatic man with a mysterious past. As the lines between gratitude and love began to blur, could Serena confront her own past and move forward? Or was she just a lost soul in a story that didn't belong to her? If you enjoy this story, don't forget to like, share it with your friends and family, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more meaningful stories. A light drizzle fell over New York City as Alexander Alex Hayes stepped out of the headquarters of Hayes Corporation. It had been an exhausting day, filled with endless meetings, and all he wanted was to return to the quiet sanctuary of his penthouse. His luxury car was parked across the street, but just as he was about to step inside, something caught his attention. Under the awning of a closed cafe, a frail young woman sat curled up, clutching a tattered coat around her body. Her hair was unkempt, her face gaunt, and her lips had turned a faint shade of blue from the cold. She kept her head down, avoiding the gazes of passers-by, almost as if she wished to disappear from the world. A strange feeling settled in Alex's chest. The streets of New York were filled with homeless people, yet something about her drew his attention. He glanced at Benny, his ever-loyal assistant, and gave a simple order: "Get her something to eat." Benny hesitated for a brief moment, but quickly nodded and went to buy food. Meanwhile, Alex remained where he was, watching the girl. She had no idea that a wealthy, powerful man had taken notice of her. A few minutes later, Benny returned with a bag of hot food from a nearby diner. Alex took it, stepped toward the girl, and placed the bag beside her. She flinched and looked up, her amber eyes locking onto his. Despite her ragged appearance, her gaze was strikingly clear and defiant, as if she was still fighting, even at rock bottom. "Eat," Alex said simply. She eyed the bag, then looked back at him with caution. Without a word, she carefully opened it. The moment the scent of a warm burger and fries hit her, her stomach growled in protest. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. Hesitating for only a second, she slowly picked up the burger and took a small bite. As the flavors of the soft bread, savory meat, and melted cheese spread across her tongue, she couldn't stop herself from taking another bite. Alex stood there, arms crossed, watching her eat. Normally, he wasn't the type to help strangers. He believed people had to lift themselves up. But there was something about this girl that made him break his own rule. She nearly finished the meal before suddenly pausing to look up at him. "Why are you helping me?" Her voice was hoarse, probably from lack of use. Alex shrugged. "No reason." She narrowed her eyes, as if she didn't believe him. But she didn't press further. Instead, she quietly returned to her food. Alex hadn't planned to stay. He had done what his conscience urged him to, and he should have walked away. But those eyes, something about them unsettled him. Before he could say anything else, she hurriedly wrapped up the remaining fries, as if afraid someone might take them. Sighing, Alex turned and walked away without another word. Benny opened the car door for him, and as the vehicle pulled away from the curb, Alex glanced in the rearview mirror. She was still sitting there, clutching the bag of food like it was the most precious thing in the world. He told himself this was just a passing moment, that he'd forget about her soon. He didn't know that fate had other plans. Late one night, Alex left his office after a long evening of reviewing contracts. The city was still alive, even at this hour. As he approached his car in the parking lot, a faint cry echoed from a nearby alley. His instincts made him pause. A part of him told him to ignore it. This wasn't his problem. But another part pushed him forward. Turning into the dark alley, he frowned at the sight before him. 3 large men surrounded a small figure. Her. The homeless girl from before. She was backed against a brick wall, her eyes wide with fear, but still defiant. One of the men grabbed her arm. Alex didn't think twice. "Let her go!" His voice rang out, cold and authoritative. The 3 men turned, surprised to see a sharply dressed man stepping into their territory. The biggest of them smirked. "And what exactly is a rich guy like you doing here? Playing hero?" Alex didn't answer. Instead, he pulled out his phone, dialed a number, and spoke in a low, firm voice. "5 minutes. If I don't call back, alert the police." There was something in his tone, an unwavering confidence, that made the men hesitate. They exchanged glances, clearly not wanting unnecessary trouble. After a few seconds, they cursed under their breath and walked away. Alex turned to the girl, who was still pressed against the wall, breathing heavily. "You okay?" he asked. She didn't respond right away. After a moment, she met his gaze. Why did you help me again?" He was silent for a second before replying, "I don't like seeing people get pushed around." She let out a short, hollow laugh. "I'm not weak." Alex studied her. A homeless girl, alone, fragile-looking, yet still standing her ground. He realized she might be right. Sighing, he said, "You can't keep living like this. Do you have anywhere to go?" She remained silent. That was answer enough. After a brief moment of thought, he made a decision that surprised even himself. "If you want to change your life, I have an offer for you." Her brows furrowed. "What offer?" Alex looked her straight in the eye. "Work for me." Serena Monroe stared at him, unsure if she had heard correctly. "Work for you?" she repeated, suspicion laced in her voice. Alex Hayes crossed his arms, his expression unreadable. "You need a chance to turn things around. I can offer you a job at my company. Nothing extravagant, but it will give you an income and a stable place to stay." Serena let out a small, skeptical laugh. "A man like you. Since when do you care about someone like me?" Alex shrugged. "I don't care, but I don't like seeing people with potential waste their lives. That's all." Serena hesitated. She didn't know how to respond. Why would a powerful CEO care about a homeless girl? Experience had taught her not to trust kindness, but this might be her only chance. "What kind of job?" she asked, still wary. A slight smirk played on Alex's lips. "Janitorial staff. You'll clean the offices, run errands, and you'll be paid fairly." Serena bit her lip. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. She searched his sharp blue eyes, looking for any hidden motives. But all she saw was determination and practicality. Finally, she nodded. "All right, I'll do it." Serena had never stepped into a place this luxurious before. As Alex led her into the headquarters of Hayes Corporation, she felt overwhelmed by the towering glass walls, polished marble floors, and the pristine modern design. Employees dressed in tailored suits passed by, throwing her curious and judgmental glances. A girl in worn-out sneakers and an old jacket. Why was she standing next to their CEO? Serena could feel their scrutiny, but she was used to it. She held her head high, unfazed. Alex handed her off to HR and left without another word. That's when she met Madeline Carter, the head of HR. Madeline gave her a once-over, her tone cool. "I don't know what you did to catch Mr. Hayes' attention, but I hope you don't cause trouble." Serena smirked. "I just want to work and get paid, nothing more." But not everyone was so willing to let her be. "Who are you?" Serena turned to see Victoria Reed, Alex's elegant, ambitious assistant, and from the look in her eyes, she wasn't pleased. Serena tightened her grip on the mop. "I'm not trying to take advantage of anyone," she said calmly. "I'm just doing my job." Victoria stared at her for a long moment, as if trying to gauge whether she was lying. Finally, she smirked. "Good. I'll be keeping an eye on you." Then she turned and walked away, leaving Serena with a strange feeling in her chest. That evening, as Alex walked down the office hallway, he happened to spot Serena kneeling as she scrubbed the floor. She worked diligently, oblivious to those around her. For some reason, he stopped. Sensing someone behind her, Serena looked up and met Alex's gaze. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her tone lacking the usual reverence that other employees showed him. Alex crossed his arms. "This is my company. I can go wherever I want." Serena shrugged. "Then I guess I can't tell you not to stand there and watch me work." Alex smirked slightly. This girl was intriguing. "How was your first day?" he asked. Serena sighed. "Pretty good, except for a few people trying to intimidate me." Alex frowned. "Who threatened you?" Serena met his eyes. "It doesn't matter. I can handle myself." Alex was silent for a moment before saying, "If anyone gives you trouble, tell me." Serena chuckled. "Why do you care?" Alex didn't answer right away. Instead, he held her gaze for a long moment before saying something simple yet unexpected. "I just don't like seeing you get bullied." Before Serena could respond, Alex turned and walked away. She watched him go, her heart skipping a beat. She had no idea that those simple words had just set the stage for something far more complicated than she could ever imagine. Serena didn't know when her life had changed so drastically. From a homeless girl wandering the streets, she now had a stable job and a place to stay, even if it was just a small apartment provided by the company. She no longer had to worry about where her next meal would come from. But what confused her the most wasn't the new job. It was Alex Hayes. Since their first encounter, she couldn't understand why someone like him had helped her. He never looked at her with pity, nor did he go out of his way to be overly kind. But sometimes, she caught him watching her from a distance, and every time their eyes met, something unexplainable passed between them. Serena didn't want to overthink it. She knew she and Alex belonged to two different worlds. But one thing she couldn't deny: she had started to care about him more than she should. One late evening, Serena stayed behind at the office longer than usual to finish cleaning. When she stepped out of the elevator, she accidentally spotted Alex sitting alone in the large conference room. He was staring out the window, a glass of whiskey in his hand, looking exhausted. She hadn't planned to interrupt, but he noticed her. "Still working late?" he asked, his voice lower than usual. Serena shrugged. "I have the night shift." Alex nodded, then fell silent for a long moment. She hadn't intended to stay, but something about him kept her from walking away. For the first time, she saw him not as the strong, untouchable CEO, but as a man who looked tired. "Are you okay?" she found herself asking. Alex looked slightly surprised, then let out a soft chuckle. "No one's ever asked me that before." Serena frowned. "Really? You're the CEO. Isn't there anyone who cares about you?" Alex swirled the whiskey in his glass, his gaze distant. "Maybe, but most people only care about my power and money." Serena remained silent, watching him closely. "Then why did you help me?" she asked, unable to hold back her curiosity any longer. Alex set his glass down and met her eyes. "The first time I saw you, I thought, if I were in your position, would anyone reach out to help me?" Serena froze. "And I realized, probably not," Alex continued, his voice soft but meaningful. An inexplicable feeling rose in Serena's chest. "Then I guess I should thank you," she said with a small smile. Alex shook his head. "No need. Just don't waste this opportunity." Serena nodded, but deep down, she knew this wasn't just a simple act of kindness. Something deeper was happening between them, something neither of them was ready to admit. But not everyone was happy about Serena's presence. Victoria Reed had noticed that Alex was paying more attention to Serena than he should, and she didn't like it. One day, Victoria cornered Serena in the hallway. "Do you think you're special?" Victoria's voice was icy. Serena didn't react, simply looking at her calmly. Victoria crossed her arms. "I've been by Alex's side for years. I know him better than anyone. And I can assure you, he will never truly care about a girl like you." Serena shrugged. "I've never thought of myself as special." Victoria smirked. "Good. Then remember your place." With that, she turned and walked away, leaving Serena with an unsettling feeling. She didn't care about Victoria. But her words, could they be true? Alex Hayes belonged to a world she could never reach. She should stop this before it was too late. But no matter how much Serena tried to keep her distance, Alex was the one who wouldn't let her go. He didn't understand why, but every time he saw Serena, he felt drawn to her. One afternoon, as he passed through the employee lounge, he noticed Serena reading a book. "You like to read?" he asked, stopping without thinking. Serena looked up, startled. "Yeah, I do." Alex sat across from her, intrigued. "What book is that?" Serena held it up. It was a classic novel. Alex raised an eyebrow. "Didn't expect you to be a literature fan." Serena smiled. "Books were the only thing I had when I was little." Alex studied her, and for the first time, he realized he wanted to know more about her past. He had never been interested in anyone like this before, and that scared him. He wasn't supposed to feel this way, but his heart seemed to have other plans. Serena knew she shouldn't let herself think too much about Alex. From the moment she stepped into this world, she reminded herself that she was just an ordinary employee, a girl who had once wandered the streets with nothing but determination and a bit of luck. Alex, on the other hand, was the CEO of a powerful corporation. He lived in a completely different world, a world of luxury cars, extravagant parties, and women like Victoria, beautiful, influential, and always certain of where they belonged. Serena would never belong there, but her heart refused to listen to reason. One late night, as Serena left the office, heavy rain suddenly poured down. She stood under the building's awning, watching the downpour. The buses had stopped running, and she had forgotten her umbrella. She debated whether to run home or wait for the rain to stop when a sleek black car slowly pulled up to the curb. The window rolled down, and Alex looked at her through the rain. "Get in," he said, his voice firm yet warm. Serena hesitated for a second before opening the door and stepping inside. Inside the car, silence filled the space. The sound of rain tapping against the windows was the only noise. "What are you doing here?" she asked, trying to sound casual. Alex raised an eyebrow. "I was passing by and saw you standing there. Were you really planning to walk home in this storm?" Serena looked out the window. "I've been through worse." Alex was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was lower. "But you don't have to anymore." Serena turned to look at him, but he kept his eyes on the road. That simple sentence made her heart skip a beat. She didn't know how to respond, so she just stayed silent. But in that silence, everything was already said. Serena tightened her grip slightly, but remained calm. "You don't need to worry about me and Alex," she said firmly. Victoria chuckled. "Oh, really? Then let's wait and see." With that, she turned and walked away, leaving Serena with a whirlwind of thoughts in her mind. That evening, Serena received an unexpected invitation from Alex. "Would you like to attend a company party tonight?" he asked. Serena was taken aback. "Why would I be invited?" Alex shrugged, as if it was no big deal. "I need someone I can trust there." She didn't fully understand what he meant, but she agreed anyway. When she arrived at the party in an elegant dress Alex had sent her, all eyes turned toward her. She felt out of place, but then Alex approached, extending his hand. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice gentle. Serena looked into his eyes. She knew she didn't belong in this world, but if Alex was inviting her in, she was willing to try. She placed her hand in his, letting him lead her into the night. The party unfolded in a dazzling display of lights, laughter, and conversations filled with hidden agendas. Serena felt lost among the luxurious gowns and the subtle power plays. But with Alex's hand firmly holding hers, her nerves seemed to fade away. He introduced her to a few business partners, treating her as if she had always been part of his world, without hesitation, without shame. It surprised many, and visibly infuriated Victoria. Serena didn't care about the stares, but she could sense something unusual in Alex's demeanor. "Are you okay?" she asked when they stepped onto the balcony to escape the noise. Alex was silent for a moment, his eyes distant. "I don't like these kinds of parties," he admitted. "It's all just a power game." Serena raised an eyebrow. "Then why do you still attend?" Alex let out a soft chuckle. "Because it's the price I have to pay to stay in this position." For the first time, Serena saw him not as the cold, untouchable CEO, but as a man burdened by invisible pressures. "You don't have to do everything alone," she said quietly. Alex looked at her, and for a brief moment, it felt like they were the only two people in the world. Slowly, he reached up and gently brushed his fingers against her cheek. "Serena." His voice was low, almost like a confession. But before anything else could happen, a voice interrupted them. "Alex, I need to talk to you." They turned to see Victoria standing there. Alex sighed and let go of Serena. "What is it?" Victoria shot Serena a displeased look before turning back to Alex. "This isn't something to discuss here. Come with me." Alex glanced at Serena, as if wanting to say something, but in the end, he just nodded. "Wait for me." Then he walked away, leaving Serena standing alone with a storm of emotions swirling inside her. She didn't want to interfere in his life, but she also didn't want to be pushed away. Serena took a deep breath and went back inside. That was when she accidentally overheard a conversation. From a secluded corner, she could hear Victoria speaking to Alex, her voice laced with anger. "What do you think you're doing? Do you really believe someone like Serena belongs in this world?" Alex didn't respond immediately. "That's none of your business," he said coldly. Victoria laughed mockingly. "Oh, really? Then let me remind you, Serena used to be homeless. If that gets out, what do you think the board will say?" Serena froze. She had never hidden her past, but she hadn't expected it to be used against her like this. She waited for Alex's response. If he admitted that it was a problem, she would leave immediately. But then she heard his voice. "I don't care who she was," he said firmly. "She's Serena, and that's all that matters to me." Serena's heart clenched, but Victoria wasn't done. "And what about Serena?" she sneered. "Is she really ready to step into this world?" Serena knew this was her moment to speak for herself. She couldn't let others decide for her. She stepped forward, standing beside Alex. "I can decide that on my own," she said calmly. Victoria looked surprised for a moment, but then she smirked. "Suit yourself. Just don't say I didn't warn you." With that, she turned and walked away. Alex turned to Serena. "You heard all of that?" She nodded. "Do you really not care about my past?" Alex smiled faintly, reaching for her hand. "I only care about who you are now, and whether you want to be with me." Serena met his gaze. She knew this wasn't a perfect fairy tale, but if there was someone willing to stand by her, despite everything, she was willing to take the risk. "I do," she said. And as Alex pulled her into his arms, she knew her life had truly changed forever. Thank you for taking the time to read this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit like, share this story with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more meaningful stories.